Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Starladder Season 5. Well underway. This is actually my first cast of a Starladder game myself. I don't know if my co-caster, Bruno, has cast any of them, but I'm really excited to be here. Glad to finally have some European Dota for you guys after the Navi game yesterday versus EG, the show match for We Play. I needed my fix, so here we are. 3D Clan, or Dreads Team, as Bruno is calling them. Probably the easier way to remember it. Features some somewhat known players as well from Russia. I think Solo is the one that stands out for me. Facing off against one of the EU juggernauts as of late, it's Fnatic. Bruno, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And I'm kind of surprised. I was looking at those bans, actually 3D's bans. The Nature Prophet as the first one is really, really interesting. Have you seen him resurface in the scene this couple of weeks?
He's seen a little more play, yeah. Actually, who was it who went from yesterday? I think it was, it was Navi went from yesterday, actually. Yeah. Fnatic was playing him, but they did something really clever with their lanes, which is a little too long to explain now, but he's seen a little more play as of late. With all every team, it seems like, is trading kills a lot, and having a hero like Prophet will generally favor you in that situation, especially if you go for that early Midas.
Yeah, and the thing is, recently we've seen lots of try versus try scenarios. Pretty much, like in half of the games we see these days, one of those teams go for aggressive try lane. And in those cases, even though Fury is quite a weak off lane compared to others, and even in the safe lane, you'd better have something like a Luna instead of a Fury farming. In this try versus try situation, when you know there will be something happening soon, having the Fury being able to TP just straight away makes an impact, and I think that's why his team's starting to pick it now.
Yeah, he's the +1. And the thing is, if he gets a solo matchup, unless he's up against something that can just crush him like a Darkseer or a Batrider, and if you play well in those matchups, you can at least get some early levels, although eventually you're probably losing your tower. You may very well die, but you do get the quick level 6, and because the enemy is tri-laning, they're under-leveled, their supports are squishy. And if Prophet gets going, there's no stopping him in that situation. Because once he gets the kills, he also gets the tower, TPs in, drops the treants. And then your team is map control, you've got tower gold, and you've killed their tri-lane. Your Prophet's getting fat, he can go back for the mech or the Midas, and from there the game kind of snowballs. As weird as it sounds, he's stronger in the tri-lane metagame, but interesting to see 3D ban him in the first stage. I feel he's a strong pick, but perhaps not worth quite that high of a priority. Oh, also it brings to mind the Trixie game that I cast a while back. Yeah. What was that for? Maybe it was for Starladder. Trixie played just an outrageous Prophet game. He fought back so many times. He went for like the total pub stomp build, Shadowblade Orchid, and just got totally out of control. It's a legit build in certain games. If the game's sloppy, that's where that kind of Prophet will really shine.
Yeah, but I mean, enough of that. Let's talk about the picks instead. And we see a very standard Batrider first pick for 3D. It's completely understandable. I mean, they banned the Wisp, they banned the Nyx and the Kotal, so the one remaining there is a Batrider. And the immediate response is Magnus and Darkseer. Darkseer a hero that will still be strong, and I think until they nerf him, and I don't think it should be nerfed, but if they don't nerf it, he'll still be first pick material every single day of the week. And Magnus, not so strong, not so hot as it used to be before the patch, but still a very important force to be reckoned. It buffs your carry a lot, it brings lots of interesting play, and of course, you can't forget the synergy between Vacuum and RP, right?
Yeah, of course. It's a little gimmicky, though. It's not something you can rely on every game, and especially with a hero like Batrider to disrupt that combo. Flame Break is a nuisance. Sticky Napalm is annoying just to be able to turn around and cast a spell quickly, and that could be a real issue for Magnus to get in position for a proper skewer. Also, I want to point out that Darkseer gives them a hero that can lane against Batrider. Batrider really can't do much to kill a Darkseer in the lane stage. Even in a side lane, he can harass him a decent amount, but because the creeps will always be slowly dying to Ion Shell, you're going to be fighting against the creep wave under your own tower. So if they get that Batrider versus Darkseer matchup, be it mid, be it in the side lane, they'll be in pretty good shape. 3D Clan, no carry picked up for them. 2 supports on a solo, so the second stage of the draft, as expected, all about the carries, as Fnatic doesn't have one either. And, well, we see that 3D has done the research. Fnatic really likes these kind of mid-game tempo-controlling carries, like the Lifestealer, the Gyro. They don't really go much for the anti-mage, the PL. I've seen them play those occasionally, but this team much more about just those high-impact early to mid-game heroes. And when you have Mag and Darkseer especially, that really makes sense. As these heroes, once you get a mech on the Darkseer or Blink on the Mag, you can just go and fight.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they're banning every single carry, but they're not banning Luna so far. I'm inclined to believe that if the 3D doesn't ban Luna right now, and somehow Fnatic doesn't either, 3D will definitely pick Luna. Because, I mean, you don't want to leave that carry for your enemy right now. I mean, it's such a strong, in a tri lane, in a solo safe lane. I mean, I've been talking to Sing and Waga, the guys from the Cupid team, and they were telling me, it's like, well, what you do with Luna is you just put her on a safe lane. And even if you get level 6 and you can kill the solo, you don't. You just keep it and then TP when something's happening on the tri lane. Use your ult, kill shit there, and then you go to the actual tower. So it's very interesting. The mechanics of that hero is a very strong pushing hero. You can still put in a tri lane with something else and it works. They decided to ban the Lone Druid instead, and the Luna is gone. So at least we'll see one unconventional carry this game, because they banned the 6 more important ones.
Yeah, let's see what it's going to be. I'm trying to think what's in the pool right now. There's obviously there's heroes like
Faceless boys.
Sven, who can combo well with Mag, but we haven't seen him much as of late. And there's a Shadow Demon and a Bat Rider, both of which counter him hard. Void would be another option. He doesn't really synergize that well with Mag and Darkseer, just because the Chronosphere can often disrupt them in the team fights. He's great with Enchantress because she can just plunk away at people with impetus, but a Void would give them a rather weak lane, and especially in that safe lane. It's something that 3D could look to exploit. You can tri-lane with Bat Rider. He's actually quite potent in that situation, and they already have what could be a tri-lane Bat. That we'll see it, but it's always an option. The Enigma being picked up now, it looks like it may be a solo Enigma based on the way this draft is developing, but we'll have to wait and see for that final pick to see what it actually is.
We'll see. It's either a solo Enigma or a jungle and just forfeit that hard lane. But I mean, you don't want to forfeit the hard lane when you have a jungler in the other team, because that means you'll be facing against 2 heroes. So if you put some hero in the off lane like that, you'll be able to get some levels if you play carefully, or just in the case that the jungler is very active towards ganking you, well, the jungler will not get enough levels. So you might as well put something there. And Enigma is really good because with the Eidolon's Deny, he can bring the lane towards him and get some farm. Not only levels, but also some farm as well. So will be interesting to see whether the Black Hole or the RP prevail. Because
are we going to see the Fnatic Meepo? That's what I want to know.
It's I don't know, man. It's too many melee, I think. We have Darkseer, we have Magnus. I'd love to see Meepo, but I don't think it's fit for this lineup.
We do get the bench spread. I haven't gotten to cast No Tails Meepo yet, so I'm just hoping for it every game.
You'll probably have the chance eventually. I mean, they'll pick it
someday.
They will keep picking it.
I'll message him and beg him to pick it next game. But Venge is the choice here. So going for another way to deal with the black hole and a good roaming support, we may see something with some early dual roam as well. Enchantress, the stronger level 1 roaming, really the strongest level 1 roaming jungler in the game, and Venge. Her stun is probably one of the best, if not the best, initiating stuns. So I think with these two, we're looking at Fnatic needing a strong solo who can do in a pinch as that carry. And Riki the choice. Wow, this could be strong against Darkseer. Can purge off that that surge and just instantly kill him off. The Cloud is going to mess up their team fight combo, as well as give 3D some opening. So I think this could fit, and Fnatic gets greedy and goes for an Alch.
Well, they've been going for an Alch quite a few games already. I mean, Era's Alchemist is something very interesting. I mean, the carry can still work, and if you can give him safe farm, and I don't think they can contest. I mean, if you look at those two teams, no one has a lineup that's perfectly suitable to go for a aggressive tri-lane. Shadow Demon and Rubik being more defensive.
There's no way to do it. The only way they could is tri-lane Bat, but then the problem is Riki's left alone, so that's not an option for them. And Enigma could take one of the other solos. But yeah, they can't really go aggressive, so they're going to go for the Alchemist here. Still a mid-game Riki. Riki offers a lot more to his team once he gets his core items up, whereas Alchemist generally is going to need to farm a lot more. Sure, you have Acid Spray, but in the team fights, that's not something you can count on doing a whole lot of damage. It's more just a way to split push and stall at the lane. So with that being said, let's quickly introduce the teams. On the side, we have the Challengers 3D. I don't think the record is actually too good in the Starladder. I'll take a look at that right now so you guys can... So you can see the standings real quickly. Let's see, where's 3D? Yeah, they're sitting in the middle of the pack. Looks like they have 12 points, but they are way behind Fnatic, who is on top. I don't think this has been updated with any of today's results, but Fnatic sitting at 24 points, so far ahead. Solo going to be playing the Rubik. Dread, or Team Dread, as Bruno's calling it, is going to be on the Shadow Demon. We have Enigma rushing a Soul Ring. Looks like he'll be in the jungle to start. Not going to go to that bottom lane. Inquisitor going to be standing and playing the Riki, and then solo mid, it will be Sharfik on the Bat Rider.
On Fnatic's side, we have Trixie on the Darkseer going mid apparently. The dual roamers will be No Tail and the Enchantress, and Fly on the Vengeful Spirit. We have Magnus. Not sure where he's going. Is he going to jungle? They seem to have abandoned. Yeah, but it's kind of weird. Maybe he's going back now to the
He's going off lane. He's worried about getting
finally,
first blooded.
Yeah, the carry Era on the Alchemist. Going for Quelling Blade, no Stout Shield. I know Pycat will be really angry at him. They say that Quelling Blade loses games just from the get-go. Because if you get harassed, you're kind of losing. But Enigma going to the jungle instead of going to the hard lane will make him have very, very easy farm.
I mean, the thing is, it's a good point by Pycat, because the thing is, like, if you have an easy lane, you should be able to get those last hits and buy a Quelling Blade anyway, shortly thereafter. And if you have a hard lane and you don't have a Stout Shield, you're just going to get destroyed. So it seems, unless you random, it's just not an item that, or you get pulled, it's an item that's very risky to say the least, but... Well, European Dota has been fairly greedy as of late. Hani's still lurking in the trees mid. They're going to try for a first blood perhaps, but Bat's already level 2. This is not going to be an easy kill. There's your magic missile. Push him down towards the middle, but not really a long-range skewer. They still get the first blood. 5 heroes, or 4 heroes suddenly mid. Sorry, Alchemist bottom. But they get the kill, and honestly, that's well worth it. They didn't waste that much time because it's right in that mid lane, very close to the jungle.
Yeah, I still don't understand. I mean, you have 3 heroes in the jungle, 3 roamers. We have a roaming Magnus there. Probably gonna pull and stack the easy camp just to help the Darkseer a little bit. But I mean, that still means that Riki can have whatever he wants in the top lane. And as we see right now, he's at 7-8 last hits, just the same as the Alchemist. But the problem is the solos, the Alchemist is going solo while the 3D supports have to still be with Riki. So while they're still getting the same farm, there's more levels for the Alchemist right now.
Yeah, the Enigma can't create the same kind of threat as the dual roaming Enchantress Venge can at this point in the game. Enigma can look to push, but he's not going to scare you as much solo killing an Alchemist or killing an Alchemist with just one other hero. Whereas these two, if they come into a lane where, say, the Mag is, or the Darkseers, they can easily pick up a kill. The boots first, Hani was there was a smart item if he wanted to go into that top lane, because with the Telekinesis Lift and Disruption, you need the extra move speed to be able to run away. You can't just rely solely on Skewer, but, well, it's not offering him too much right now. He will be heading towards the top lane. I mean, it got the first blood, but I think they had that without it, especially with the Invis Rune. So, the Tier 1 tower drops very early top. Fnatic will look to reply pushing bottom. And generally pushing a tower like this early can come back to bite you in the ass. You really want to go for 2, because if you just get 1 and the enemy does a nice job of static farming, sure, you can try and pull the lane back with some pulls, but ultimately you're going to give away quite a bit of experience. That is what we see now, is Hani getting experience, Enigma not, as he's still grouped up. They're really forcing the issue top.
Yep, I think they will go, and if at least they will force some kind of TP reaction. Because they can very well keep pushing.
Solo, very manly, not afraid at all about that level 1 skewer. If that was old skewer, there's no way he's standing there.
Yeah, but it's still fine. On the other hand, yeah, they will take the bottom Dire Tower.
This really favors Fnatic for me. Because they're not spending nearly as much. There's 4 heroes still sitting top, still trying to push the lane. It's such a big investment. Your Enigma could be level 4.5 right now, getting close to level 5 if he's farming really efficiently in the jungle. You're also denying your Riki experience, and Riki is actually quite level dependent. Cloud needs to be maxed, Blink needs to be maxed, and Backstab ideally as well.
Riki is tanking a lot.
And he's taking a lot of damage. Uh-oh, they really want this tower quickly. Will there be a TP reaction? Everybody's tanking the tower. Riki's feeling a little impatient. Could have just waited for 1 more wave. And, well, they're going to use a ton. That's like 300 gold of consumables probably just spent for that.
It's fine. They knew that the Magnus had no mana. Now he has just 1 for a shockwave. Before that, they knew that they were safe, that they couldn't be sniped. And they really seem to want to force some TP reaction there, or else they'll take this tower. And if the Riki... Oh, there they come.
Here comes Trixie from the side, looking to go. Magic Missile on Riki. Hani waiting for the skewer. Gets clouded, not able to find it. Fly charging forward. Does have the Magic Missile, unloads it on Solo. Solo will drop. The chase continues onward to Dread, who is now slowed, taking a lot of damage. They've really overstayed their welcome there. And the levels have to be checked right now. 2 on the Rubik, 3 on the Shadow Demon, 3 on the Riki, and 3 on the Enigma. Meanwhile, everybody is 3 or above for Fnatic. They have 2 heroes that are 4 and 1 that's 5. So when it comes to experience, it is just a massive deficit for this early in the game.
Yep, and in the meantime, look at Era's Alchemist. He's 27 last hit. 11, no, sorry, 9 more than the Riki, which survived, so that's a win there, but is it worth it?
Not worth it at all, especially because they denied the Riki experience as well.
And the tower. So, no, it's completely a lose-lose situation. Now Era moves to this lane, because it's, as you said, well, the towers are pushed here, so the lane will be going next to his base, so he'll be able to probably find some farm. And they still have some kind of control. I mean, they don't really mind losing those 2 towers because arguably the top Radiant lane is the least important of all lanes in the game. Because it's too far away from Roshan. There are no... I mean, there's just one entry point for ganking. Yeah. No, nothing happens, man. It's fine. So, Era will be there for a little while, hopefully. No, he decides to go back bottom and keep farming against a Rubik solo.
I wonder what Era's going to go for. He's going for Max Greevil's Greed. He wants that gold. How much does he want it? How badly does he want it? Does he want that Midas? We'll see. He's getting close if he does. An Alchemist who's left unchecked with a Midas does get totally out of control. And because Riki's been slowed down quite a bit, I feel this is something you might just be able to get away with. Normally, you don't need a Midas and Alchemist. That's just for messing around in pubs. But with this kind of a lead, maybe you can swing it. Not necessary, though. Vanguard, Phase Boots, these are the sort of standard items we'd probably expect to see. I really like Shadowblade Alchemist. I feel it's incredibly underappreciated.
Oh, mid lane, mid lane.
Oh, here we go. Onto the Bat Rider. Skewered after the Magic Missile, but he's Fireflied, so he should be okay. Gonna just juke over the trees and...
He survives.
Only level 4 on the Mag. Even Trixie's quite underleveled as well. He's level 5 too. Nobody's really getting as much experience this game as you would expect. So much early movement.
Yeah. But again, I mean, it still works for Fnatic. It's okay as soon as the Alchemist gets something going. He's now 2k. He's not going for the Midas. Maybe he's going for the Radiance. I mean, it's not the best build for Alchemist, but I mean, it's still interesting. You can just start pulling and stacking camps and getting so much gold with that Radiance. And in this game, as you say, it might be worth it.
Yeah, let's see. Sharfik TP's back in the middle lane. He doesn't even have boots. He's just going for the naked blink. Oh boy. And, well, what does Era have on the way? It is going to be that completed hand of Midas. So somewhat as expected. I mean, Fnatic they just feel like one of the greedier teams out there.
Yeah.
They love to go for the Midases. They love to go for kind of aggressive items and leave themselves relatively squishy. Here goes the Smoke Gank top, level 4 and 4 on the 2 supports. They both have boots. And Hani doesn't have level 6 yet. This is a great time to gank him. Start with the Disruption, follow up with the Cloud. You can surround him as well if you're really good about it. They lift him up, they bring him down, they chop him up, and down he goes.
Yeah, that's great. And it puts Riki at level 6, which is great, because now...
And Riki's level 6 is so important, because once he hits 6, you have to be worried about him whenever you don't see him.
Yep, and I mean, he'll catch up, not with the farm probably, because he will not be sitting at lane farming. But they seem to want to go on Trixie now. Will they be able to? Nah. It's really hard to gank Darks here, but instead they're going to push the tower.
The Enigma's only level 6 at this point in the game. He's nowhere near his mech. Again, this is the cost of forcing that push top early on, going for the tier 2 after the tier 1. That was a good 3 or 4 minutes that he invested in getting that tower. Could have been spent. He'd pretty much have a mech by now. If you farm efficiently as Enigma, you'd more or less have it. Be very close to it anyway. Certainly by like the 10-minute mark, it should be complete.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think that they understand their game plan is to keep pushing. It might not be working so far, but if they put pressure, they definitely can take this tier 1 mid. And will they pursue?
The issue might be is it's going to get tougher. Oh, here comes the blinker from Bat, but he doesn't have boots. This is a
so
sad,
slow.
sad Bat. He might actually die here for this. He's going to lasso... Trixie, no, actually, he didn't even get the lasso off. He's just going to die in the end. In comes Mag. RP from Hani. Dangerous to push into a Darkseer and a Mag, and now we see why they just completely destroy them. I mean, that's the issue, is they're running a push strategy, but the 2 cores of Fnatic for the mid-game have so much AoE. The chase continues on to Solo, who now gets stunned by the Elk, surged in, stunned up, down he goes, the tower in jeopardy. And, I mean, the early tower gain's just going to be, the tower lead is just about to be erased now. In fact, it's already back to even.
It's kind of complicated. I mean, what do you do now? You invested so much, as you just said, in getting those early towers, and that isn't working for you. Now you're losing some map control. You have a Riki, but where is he now? I mean, he's just sitting there, going to the ancient. I don't know what he's doing, but He's really, really far away from his diffusal blade. Maybe they'll just decide to farm him a little bit.
It sounds like he's making you depressed, Bruno. Like there's this like growing malaise about you and the way that you're talking over the course of this game. This Riki is not doing good things for your constitution, or perhaps it's the weather in Sweden.
Yeah, no. You know, it's a myth what they say about being depressed because of the night. It's. I checked the statistics and.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah. What are the stats on that?
No, it's actually not that bad. I think the worst country is Moldova in Europe.
I was pretty sure that one of the Scandinavian countries, maybe it's Finland, has like the highest suicide rate and alcoholism rate in the world.
Yeah, Moldova drinks 100 cubic centimeters, which is like 2 shots of pure alcohol a day.
Just the average citizen. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for the average citizen.
Oh, Fly is going to need
Fly,
a few shots after this one. He just gets bowled over. Still no boots on the bat, but the Blink Dagger pays off there.
Well, yeah, it's 1 kill. The Riki is there, which is useful. He's going to have his second blade now, so it's just 1500 away from his diffusal. And with a diffusal and a Bat Rider, you can make things happen, but not against this era. Look at him. He's going for the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, once he has the Shadow Blade, this is going to make life really difficult. And 3D supports
now he knows. Now he knows.
Oh, he's being blocked. He's being blocked. He's got to know. He's already bought the Shadow Blade, so it doesn't really matter too much. His Midas is on cooldown, though. Era not going to have that maximum efficiency of this farm. But with the Shadow Blade pickup, it forces 3D to buy a lot of sentries and a gem, ideally. And that's just something that these supports, they're desperately poor. They spend so much time pushing top. This is a hefty, hefty tax for them, and it's a tax you have to pay whenever a Shadow Blade is built, but in this particular game, it's much more expensive because of how poor they are. And as I say that, Fnatic's going to smoke up mid, and Hani's close to a blink after that slow start he had. He's really caught up.
Yeah. I just like the fact that I don't see the heroes invisible anymore when they smoke in the minimap. It used to be that way. They showed less invisible. Oh, Dread. Oh. Nice disruption, but it's only delay inevitable.
You can either die now or you can die in 2 seconds, Bruno. What's your choice?
Yeah, I think I'll live for a little bit longer.
Even if it's in like a dark... I mean, what's inside of a disruption? Now there's a good philosophical question, because to me it looks like the void, nothingness.
Maybe it's like the Meet the Pyro video, which seems so green, but inside the head it's just like all candy.
Like a dance party?
Yeah, exactly.
It's black and gloomy on the outside, Candyland on the inside. Is that what you're saying?
Mean, you have to consider that when you get into the black hole of disruption, you get out with 2 friends, so something definitely happens in there. Some kind of party must be going on.
Or maybe they just like pull pieces of your essence out of your body to create 2 new copies of you.
That sounds really dire.
Yeah, that's like that's like the leg lengthening procedures they have in Asia as well, which is it's calf thinning, I believe it. Oh man, that's a weird surgery. It's a thing in Korea where I guess it's considered more attractive to have very thin, sleek calves. So, well, the surgery for that, I'm not going to go into the details, but it sounds unpleasant.
Sounds unpleasant indeed. Yeah. I knew about the double eyelid, which makes you supposedly it makes you look more occidental and prettier, but I don't know. I mean, the amount of
there's so many cosmetic surgeries, especially in Korea. It's very strange because a lot of the other Asian countries are not nearly as image conscious, but Korea is incredibly so. It's just interesting how a country can develop so differently from its neighbors. But well, anyway, that's neither here nor there, Bruno. So the state of the game. 4K gold lead for Fnatic, 4K experience lead for Fnatic. Riki almost has that diffusal blade, but Hani has his blink. Trixie's got his mech. He's almost got his level 2 ultimate as well. Is Wisely has not maxed the vacuum, is only taken 2 points in Surge. I really prefer this build. It drives me nuts when I see Darkseers getting 3-point, multiple points in Surge and maxing the vacuum, because then you just delay your wall, and sometimes it can cost your team the game or big fights. But he's going for the smart build. Also Fly, level 6, maxing the Vengeance R, so this team has a lot of physical DPS.
Yeah, and I mean, they can push right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Era decides to go for the Assault Cuirass right now, because that would be so much attack speed and the possibility to melt buildings. I always see some encounter here. There's smoke, they're waiting. 3D wants to come in. They're waiting for... Who's there? Riki. Riki has his diffusal. That was what they were waiting for.
Yeah,
now
but can they win this fight? Enigma only has a mech, no blink. They start with the bat lasso. They pull in Trixie. Now he's caught in the cloud, but the RP catches the backlines, the backup, and now they're surrounded. They're taking a lot of damage. RP was stolen by Rubik. I think he only got creeps with that. Looks like he completely whiffed. Solo on the way out. Era in trouble. Kenny Shadowblade, he's still alive, but the Demonic Purge is going to pick him off in the end. Now Dread to fall with the nuke from the Magnus, and when it's all said and done, that RP by Hani, sure it got stolen, but he disrupted the Enigma. They couldn't really, if you're 3D, you want to black hole the enemy team inside of the cloud, and when they couldn't do that, being behind like this, they just didn't have a shot.
Yep. So it was in the end a 4v1 trade. Era bought back, but Alchemist doesn't care because he just CP straight away with his newly bought Boots of Travel.
Ah, yes.
And now he'll push the top lane.
Era's, you know, there's a lack of Radiance, but as long as he goes back for one, this will be the perfect Alchemist build.
Yep. So I think that Fnatic is very happy with the trade right now, and they'll keep back on farming, just maybe getting some more money in that Enchantress, which has pretty much nothing, just Arcane Boots. There's a blink already on the Magnus, as we saw from the last fight. I don't know, maybe they'll just sit back for a couple of minutes and then keep on pushing, because at this point there's not much that 3D can do to stop them.
Yeah, and this is one of the big issues with the Riki, just being involved in a 4-man push early on and then not getting too many kills. His Diffusal Blade timing was delayed. He's 2-1-0, which sounds decent on paper, but when you look at the state of the game, it's not just about how much the Riki has, it's about how much his opponents have as well, and there's really not that many easy kills. The Venge is an easy kill if she's caught alone. The Enchantress potentially, but for the most part, Fnatic has been moving as a unit. We haven't seen these supports out on their own, and that's really where Riki is at his best, when he can just pick off squishy supports that are isolated, when he can initiate fights for his team, and at this point in the game, Fnatic is rich enough. They really could have a gem if they wanted. Instead, they have double bracers on Venge, Earn on No-Tail, but the point is, nobody's a particularly easy kill, and the 5-mana Fnatic, sure, there's a black hole, there's a lasso, but there's an RP vacuum wall and now a level 2 wall as well. So the team fight for Fnatic, terrifying.
I'm still waiting to see one black hole. It's 16 minutes into the game and we haven't seen one.
It's hard.
But yeah, as you say, it's really hard.
They're going to try now. They do pick up No-Tail to start the fight. Now jumping on to fly, and well, the Demonic Purge is going to be there to try and slow him down, but there's no follow-up. Blinking from Era. But no, sorry, not Blinking from Era, but Shadowblade, a rival from Era. Trixie looking for the wall, has not used it yet, and Solo just sitting on the wings. He has RP still from the last fight, but it's going to wear off very soon. Oh, yeah. If they could have found that opening with the black hole and RP, that would have been amazing, but just not.
Emo was just too late to the fight. He TP'd and his TP was last, so he took very long. He was still very useful because without the mech, the Bad Rider wouldn't have survived.
Blink in from Trixie. That's who is the Blink Dagger. Vacuums one. And now trying to run away, but gets purged inside of the cloud. Alchemist as well. There's your RP from Hani. I think the Rubik's RP is worn off at this point. He'll die in a black hole. Catches everyone, but where's the follow-up? It's not there. The damage was done too quickly by Hani. Now Sharpbeak on the way out. Sharpbeak, can he escape? Era's giving chase. Era's running. What is Era doing? On the other side, the Enigma got picked off. Now the Riki slowed down, but purging and manning up inside of this. He will be stunned, but I don't think they have quite enough damage to kill him off. In fact, Riki turning the fight. Alchemist still chilling in the trees. Nowhere else for him to go. Well, imagine if the Rubik had gotten his RP off in that fight. That probably would have been a team wipe going the way of 3D. Instead, it's a fairly even engagement. Another Sentry Ward drop. Riki gets greedy. Riki greedy. Riki dead. Now onto Dread. Dread in a little bit of trouble. Now disrupted. Probably going to drop. Bruno, this is not looking good for 3D. They had their shots in this fight, but the way it's ending, well, Solo's going to skewer, but there's no action. It just sort of looked like he's chill, like gliding along the ground, and they're still chasing.
This is not looking good at all. Maybe he can lift now? He can lift? Pull back?
Lasso, vacuumed in.
So tanky. Look at that.
And this is with no tank items. That's just purely the Alchemist ult working in his favor, as well as the mechanism. But Hani comes in yet again. Skewers in, shockwaves through. Sharpbeak turns around and says, "Screw you, Hani. I want a piece of this pie." But this pie is a fat, angry beast with a horn on its head. Still, it will fall in the end. And No-Tail retreats towards the middle lane.
Wow.
The gold graph continues to climb. The experience graph takes a slight dip, but it's a very insignificant one at this point in the game. And I gotta say, Fnatic, we haven't even really seen a great teamfight execution for them. They get into these crazy fights and they just outplay their opponents with superior teamwork and decision-making as a group. They don't have the best initiations, at least not this game, but they're pulling through just with sheer team synergy, and It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's very solid plays from them, but as you said, none of this perfect back-give into RP combo or an Alchemist just stunning a couple guys and getting an ultra kill. I mean, it's just solid, regular, strong plays. They've been trading pretty evenly, even with slight advantages to them. And I mean, they're content with that because the farther the game goes, the better their chances are. So now Enigma doesn't have Black Hole for 1 more minute. Rubik lost the RP, now he has just Skewer, which is not very interesting to have if you are
Well, it looks really
Rubik.
cool. Like, he rides his broomstick forward, but it's not very practical.
And now 3D decides that if they want to make something happen, they have to go for Rush. But Fnatic will probably know that something's going up because the top lane is being pushed and no one's there to farm it. So they might be saying, Rush is afoot.
Yeah, Rush is dead.
Yeah,
No contesting of this.
No contesting.
But,
this is quite interesting.
I mean, this sort of goes back to the hero matchups as well. Riki is not a great farmer. If you just sit in a lane and right-click creeps, you farm reasonably fast with backstab, but...
Just Centaur scouting. Yeah.
Did not deny the Aegis in the end, did not snipe the kill. But here comes the team fight. Sharpbeak's gonna grab no time, but he's already healing up, so he's not gonna die quickly. Everybody vacuumed in. The wall dropped as well. RP only catches Dread. Will it be stolen by the Rubik? He skewers in. He steals RP. Can he find anybody to use it on? It doesn't look like it mattered. Ink Visitor, Black Hole, catches out Era. He's the one they want to kill. They have the RP after this. Will they use it? Gotta RP or you're gonna die. They will RP Era now. Bring him down with the Flame Break. Unbelievable. Skewers in, steals the RP, Trixie still alive, Trixie getting kills with Ion Shell while this is all happening. Not even one his main hero. Malefice could be there. No, now still cooling down for a few seconds. The Purge can't surge. Down he goes. 18 to 12 for Fnatic, but I mean, call it a big victory for 3D. 3 deaths on Fnatic, only 2 on 3D, and a lot of it goes down to the Rubik stealing the RP because sure, it was only used on one hero, but without that, the Alchemist was getting 1, possibly 2 more kills, and Riki holds onto the Aegis, so a big win for 3D.
You know, when everyone in your team comes out at low life, you know that it was a great team fight for you because everyone survived. They took a lot of damage, but they were able to split. It all came to that Darkseer vacuum into wall, which was great, but the RP getting a little bit too late, enough for the Enigma to come out, and I think they just caught the Bad Rider into it. So after that, the Enigma caught Black Hole, and as you said, well, the counter RP just was too strong for Fnatic to react. I still think it doesn't set them back too much, but as you say, if you look at the gold graph, it's dipping a little bit towards 3D. And maybe now they can make things happen, because Riki still has the Aegis, and he's going for a BKB.
Yeah, Alchemist is so much better at farming than Riki that 3D has to win more than just one fight. Once the BKB comes online for Riki, that's going to be a big pickup. Sure, they have RP, but you're forced to blow it on him. And that means the Enigma doesn't have to worry as much about it. The supports are less likely to get caught. Riki can force out the RP, come back with Aegis, pop his BKB after that, and he'll be absolutely fine. And maybe able to just completely turn the fight. So Fnatic, not fully out of the woods.
Look at the money on the Enigma. What the hell?
Did he? How many kills did he get in that last fight?
I don't know.
No, he's 0-3.
But why? Why do you have 3,800 gold?
He's thinking. I guess he's debating between BKB and Blink. He goes for Blink in the end, or maybe he just wanted to go for a casual Heart of Tarrasque. You never know.
Why not, right? Now the thing about BKB, Bench is already level 11, so that means even with a BKB, she will be able to disrupt unless you catch her into your black hole.
I mean, there's still some things. There's an Alchemist stun, there's a vacuum, but like you said, it's not a surefire solution. They go on to fly mid, pulling him back with the lasso. Now the Cloud dropped in a great position in the middle of the river, but RP on 5 heroes! Unbelievable RP! Absolutely filthy, disgusting play from Hani. 4 heroes dead, and that includes the Aegis, so really only 3, but they want the Riki now. They should be able to get him, or maybe not. Maybe they've underestimated his damage. Untouchable really limiting his ability to quickly kill heroes off, and the Riki vacuum back in, triple for Trixie, but give Hani 5 kills to his name because he earned them all. Even if Enigma lived, that's a kill in my book. Hani MVP of this game solely for that RP if Fnatic goes on to win. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, now they fixed whatever was wrong in that last team fight. They could put the vacuum wall into the RP, which was perfect. Then a skewer on 3 heroes as well. And only because it was, I don't know why he didn't get the 4 there. Enigma just stood and that's why he survived. If he could have skewered the Enigma, which was in skewer range, I saw he was in skewer range, it would have been a complete team wipe for Fnatic. But at this point I don't think it really matters. They can be so ahead now. And without the Aegis, they can't take 5-on-5 teamfights anymore against a Magnus and a Darkseer.
I would actually love to know the statistics on 5-man RPs. I wonder what they are. It's got to be like less than 1%, I would think. It's got to be extremely low.
It's quite rare, I think. I don't have the numbers.
It's honestly probably higher in competitive play, just because teams will tend to 5-man more in the mid game, and sure they have better positioning, but your team also has better coordination to counter that. I'd be interested not only to see the stats in general, but also specifically how it's different between Cubs and Pros. But either way, what an incredible play by Hani. And that fight was looking rather bad for Fnatic. Riki had Aegis, his Cloud was dropped in a great location strategically in the middle of the river, but Hani just came out of nowhere from the backside, caught them with the Blink RP, and then skewered 3 back. Could have been more, still was good enough for sure, and averts disaster for his team, because that was looking like an extremely bad fight. And gets rid of the Aegis too, which is another big victory for them.
Yeah, I mean, the saving grace is that Bad Rider suddenly has, well, he has a Force Staff and Boots now, and a Casual Cloak, because, he's being focused so much by those stuns and those vacuums. So he still has the initiation edge if he can pick off some random heroes, and Black Hole is online again. But I mean, it seems like peanuts compared to what the Fnatic has right now. Look at Era. He has the Desolator complete. He says, why do I need a BKB? I don't need a BKB in this game. I just man up and kill people in 3 hits with my Desolator and Shadowblade.
Yeah, the Desolator. And he's got Cleave as well. We haven't really had a chance to talk much about it, but of course any melee hero with the mag is just going to be that much stronger. And he's got the Venge with the max Vegetar, which he maxed first, as well as the Wave of Terror. And I won't be surprised if he just doesn't even level up the stun at this point. Just getting stats is going to help his team a lot more. Look at the HP on Fly. Fly is not an easy kill, and if he gets a Ghost Scepter, sure, Riki can purge that off, but that's just another spell he has to worry about purging when there's already Surge afoot to deal with. So I think Fnatic is still in a pretty strong position because they have so many support heroes that scale well into the late game and complement the Riki nicely. Also the Mag with a Vlad's and a Drum. So all of these items significantly increasing the Riki's DPS, or not the Riki's DPS, the Alchemist.
The Alchemist.
Probably by like upwards of 50 to 80%.
Yeah, I mean it's really strong.
More.
No, I mean clearly this was deliberate. I don't think that Fly casually decided, okay, let's just skill my aura. This was all part of the plan.
Oh, and more minus armor and the assault.
Exactly. So
and a gem
this is
3D
has a chance to make something happen with this smoke. Can they catch Fly? Oh, this is a very bad initiation.
Oh, he jumps in, he catches Fly, he gets swapped out, the RP catches everyone again, but the Black Hole is there to try and bail them out. Riki BKBs to his own demise, Alchemist just chewing through them all. Triple for Era, and the minus armor on this team is just out of this world. How much do they have at this point? 6 from the Desolator, another 5 from the AC, that's 11, plus another 6 from the Acid Spray if he drops it. That's 17. Then you're looking at the Venge with another -5, -22 armor. It's not quite Starladder territory, but it's good enough. And the GGs will arrive. 3D showed some signs of life in the earlier engagements, but Hani just he closed the game.
You can't blame them. I mean, look at this. They're just they wouldn't be able to defend even if they wanted to. I mean, by the time the Riki responds, or even the Bad Rider, those 2 tier 4 towers would have been gone. And I think it was very well played by Fnatic. The early gamble on going Midas and Alchemist with that free lane paid off really, really well. And I'm not surprised if we see like 1000 GPM on that Alchemist right now.
What's crazy about Alchemist is you can get greedy and it pays off, and also even if you have a hard time, you can catch up because of Goblin's Greed. So it kind of works both ways. The issue is just that he needs a lot of items. So if you can consistently keep him down or get your carry really far ahead, then he's useless. But he does have some comeback mechanic, and if left alone, you see the full might of it farming Alchemist. It wasn't even farming that much, only 200 CS in 28 minutes, which is not bad, but certainly not otherworldly, but still 850 GPM. I'm LD, he's Bruno. I won't say we are beyond the summit because you're a traitor, but I am beyond the summit. Bruno is a traitor. Of course, he's from the GD studio. Good to have you aboard, Bruno. We have another match coming up. Hopefully, Bruno will join me for that. If not, I'll find somebody else. But it will be No Tidehunter versus Virtus Pro. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for that.